Welcome to the Write or Die Show. I am your host, Randi-lee. On today's episode, I'm going to be talking to Cynthia Gregory. Welcome, Cynthia. Super excited to have you on the show.
Thank you. I'm really glad to be here.
All right, starting off with a nice, easy intro question. Tell us about yourself.
I am a coach and a writer living in Sonoma, California, the beautiful Sonoma Valley. I published a book 4 years ago now, which is crazy, called Journaling as Sacred Practice. And I'm about to release my new book this spring. I'm down to the final editing stages, which is making me a little bit crazy. It's way more fun to write the book than to edit it.
Yes, that's what I say.
This is a short story collection that I've written over the past 20 years. So it's a chunk.
Ooh, cool.
Which is very cool. Some of them won prizes. And so this is a compilation, and probably I will be submitting the book itself to some contests for short story collections.
What kind of mental health have you experienced?
Oh boy. Well, I live in the Sonoma Valley, and starting in 2018, we started having these urban wildfires because we have a drought. And when the wind kicks up, they arc power lines that spark into trees. And when you have 70-mile-an-hour winds, it just throws embers everywhere.
Oh, yeah. I never even thought of that.
Yeah, we were in the evacuation zone on and off for, golly, in 2018, it was like for 2 or 3 weeks. So every day you're waking up and going, what's going on? Is it safe? Where's the fire?
That'd be scary.
Really scary, kind of stressful and disorienting. It's very strange. So, we've started having a fire season here in California, generally in the fall when everything's dry and prone to fire. So then when the pandemic shut everything down a year ago, a little more than a year ago, I started kind of having foggy brain. And I mean, I felt safe. I felt I was okay, just doing all the right things and being safe like everybody else.
Yeah. But
I had trouble concentrating, and I was irritated, and I had trouble sleeping. And I was, as a coach, I'm coaching myself going, what is this about? What is familiar about this? And I went, what is familiar about this is the same kind of feeling of being unsafe that the fires provoked.
Oh.
So the PTSD kind of kicked in. And for me, that was the very beginning of understanding what this whole experience was going to be like emotionally for everyone. Everybody was going to move through the stages of grief and move through the stages of loss, and so many changes going on. So I really felt like it was an opportunity to share that. I've given some wellness webinars to companies when they first started working at home, and really just sort of affirming for a lot of these people the feelings they were having, because nobody was talking about it at the time.
It's true. It's true. A lot of people were simply saying, hey, at least you get to stay home, which I'm not knocking. Yeah, we get to stay home. And a lot of big things in the past have been that you had to leave home and potentially die. But that doesn't change the fact that it could provoke some PTSD in some people, or just feelings of depression and anxiety, that kind of thing.
Right. There was such a sense of loss. There was a loss of community. In many cases, there was loss of family, loss of ritual about how we experience loss of family. Yeah. So it was amazing. And people responded really well to being able to talk about it.
Yeah, which is fantastic that people are now talking.
Yes. I mean, I really believe it's only a problem if we can't talk about it.
Exactly, which is why this show is so important, so we can talk about it, because mental health is not a problem that we need to brush under the covers. In fact, that just makes it worse.
I know. Let's not stigmatize mental health. Let's just consider it part of health.
Yes, I say that in my newest book that I released this year. Because the one chapter is stopping the stigma of mental health, and I say in there, why do we feel the need to to put the qualifier in front of it? Why do we qualify that with mental when it's still health, right? As soon as we say mental health and put that qualifier of mental in there, people are like, mental, you're mental, right? And it has that bad connotation with it, but really it's health. Now, it is nice to put that qualifier just so you, when you go to the doctor or whatever, you can say, yeah, my mental health, and they'll know what you're talking about.
Right. Well, there was a point at which I did call my physician because it was about 3 months ago.
Okay.
And we'd been under lockdown for all these months, and I had bad ergonomics and my back started bothering me. And so I was having this chronic pain thing going on. And I was just feeling the burden of, working at home for a year.
Mm-hmm.
And so I called my physician. I said, I don't know, do I need antidepressants? And they said, well, let's do a review, and I'll refer you to behavioral health. They'll do a questionnaire. They'll do an intake questionnaire,
Okay.
and let's see where we are.
Yeah.
And the questionnaire itself informed me that I'm fine. There are so many, the questions they ask are like, are you afraid that you're going to hurt yourself or hurt somebody else? I'm like, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
And so just that check-in, I think, was really wonderful, just to have that conversation. I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm doing all the right things. I'm exercising, I'm eating the right foods, I'm getting out and I'm talking about things when they bother me. And so I think I'm doing everything I can.
Yeah, that's fantastic. When you started experiencing your, like, I know you were saying foggy brain and stuff, was there anything else that you noticed you were feeling?
It was just a low level anxiety, I think, because suddenly everything turned upside down. And so what I really thought about, what gives us consistency from day to day, or we have these routines and we have these rituals that we engage in.
Yeah.
And when you suddenly just take away a lot of that, I think it's easy to feel a little bit unmoored, a little bit disconnected.
Yeah.
And so that's why having these rituals really helps, and setting your home office up so that it's not in your living room, and you make your bed every day, and then you move from one room to the other, and these are set up very specifically for very specific reasons. I think that kind of ritual brings a level of emotional sense of wellness.
Yeah, I love that point. So my office is now in my bedroom after my grandson was born, because I gave it up for him. And so I had to move my desk into my bedroom, which is fine. I love him. He can have the room. But it did make a difference on productivity, because it wasn't that sense of, okay, I'm walking into this room, so I know I'm in work mode.
Isn't that funny? Yes.
Yeah. It's such a strange feeling that just putting it into my room, all of a sudden was in work mode. And it's been there for a while now. He's a year and a half. So I've kind of got into that mindset of, okay, now that I'm here, I am in work mode.
Right.
And it's nice because I have it right in front of a window. So I'm looking out at the outside world. So it's kind of nice that way. I don't have to look into my bedroom, because I think that would make it worse.
Right. The place I sleep, you get this cognitive dissonance going on. So,
Exactly.
Even changing the direction that you're facing can give you a different impression about where you are and what you're doing.
Exactly. So facing that window has really helped. Right now I'm in my basement because that's the only nice quiet spot for interviews. I'm sitting on the floor. The computer is on my aerobic stepper.
Oh, I love that. Isn't it funny how we adapt?
Yes. And it's so true what you're saying. Like, when everything started and you're working from home, you're just sort of thrown into this confusion. And I was working from home doing that stuff before, so it wasn't that confusion for me. But for a lot of people, it's that confusion of, now, where am I going to work? Where am I putting my papers? A lot of people who worked in an office building didn't have an office at home.
No, absolutely not. It was, it was as much as we wanted to, right? We weren't yet doing that. And so, it's quite interesting. So I was very much out in the community a lot. I was on committees and meeting with, different people in the community. And when everything shut down and that whole aspect was cut off, I think I really, really missed my community.
Yeah, which makes sense.
Yeah. So a lot of my work was not just in an office, but it was, out and about. Yeah, and so
exactly.
So my world got very small. Yeah, the outside world. So my world got very small, very fast.
Yeah. That's so true. So what can you tell people who are experiencing some of this stuff for themselves right now?
I'd say be kind to yourself and recognize that it's a call for self-care, and that talking to somebody is going to help, and to choose carefully who you talk to. I mean, talk to a
Oh,
mental health
yes.
professional, talk to your physician, talk to a coach or a therapist, anybody that will speak to you without judgment, will affirm what you're feeling as perfectly normal, and hopefully give you some tools to adapt and to modify so that you feel better and you're taking better care of yourself. As you said earlier about the concept of stigmatizing mental health, we never really prioritized self-care
Yes.
and mental care as important as going to the gym.
Yep.
And so now we have a new awareness.
Yeah, that has a whole chapter in my book too. I love it.
Yay, right? Yeah. So talk to somebody, just talk to anybody. Don't bury it in, and don't judge yourself for it.
Yeah. What coping skills did you use while you were trying to kind of sift through this anxiety that you were feeling?
Yeah, right. I live, there's about 165 acres outside my back door. So I would walk the meadow a lot. Yeah. And notice what was going on in nature when the birds were coming back. And
that's awesome.
It was amazing. You know, I live in a touristy area. So there's always a background noise, humming of traffic, always. And that disappeared. And it was just beautiful, actually. It was really nice.
I love
doing
nature.
Yoga. Yes, nature is such a healer. Doing yoga. I, as a coach, I have several coaches myself.
Yep.
And so I was checking in regularly with my people and getting recommendations and kind of mirroring and feedback about, how we were all doing. That helped a lot.
Oh, good.
Interestingly, right before the pandemic hit, I started doing intermittent fasting as a diet plan.
Yeah.
And that helped me not gain a lot of weight, frankly. I credit that as being able to I think I've lost weight this whole last year.
Wow, nice. I lost and then I gained it back and I'm trying to lose it again.
Yeah. So, and writing, that's my creative expression. When there's anything going on in my head, I just need to get it on paper. Yeah. It makes it more clear somehow to see it on paper. And then I don't go into a spin about, this is going on. Get it out on paper and go, oh yeah. And then I can figure out, a way out of that. Yeah. Or use the anxiety that I'm experiencing and write it into a character. So that
a lot of people do that.
Use it as material.
Might as well. Love that.
Yeah. And then there's the sense of authenticity to it, right? Because this character is feeling this thing and you're not just making up this idea of, oh, what would it feel like if they had anxiety? You're just doing a brain dump about, how it's kind of pinching your thoughts or impressing your mood or whatever is going on with you. So I always use it as material whenever possible.
That's fantastic. It's the best way to do it.
It really is. It's like, use it for good. Use your powers for good.
Exactly. Well, that's why 3 of my books are all nonfiction because that's what I did. Use my power for good. Use the bad for the good.
There's such a need for nonfiction, self-improvement, self-development, in biographies, memoirs, histories. It's all really important. And fiction has its own place, for sure, and all that.
I love me some good fiction.
Love me some good writing.
Yeah, exactly.
I started reading. That's another thing I did this year. I started reading real books again because I got into a pattern. When I transferred over to Kindle, I was like, this is great. And when I was out in the world driving around a lot, I would listen to Audible books a lot.
I love Audible.
I love Audible. But I got out of the habit of that tactile experience of holding the book and feeling the weight of it and touching the paper. And this year got me back into books again, which I'm really happy about. Actual paper books that go in a shelf. Yes,
I know. I love it. So I always ask the guests, do you want me to review your book? And some Some people say yes, some people say no, whatever. But what I love is some of them send me the e-copies and some of them send me hard copies. So what I've started doing is I'll read one e-copy of whatever book, and then I'll switch to a hard copy to give my eyes kind of that change. So I love that. It's kind of like neat to be able to go back and forth.
It is. I never thought that I would fall in love with ebooks. They're so convenient and easy, and you can carry so many around on your handheld device.
Exactly. I'm waiting in the grocery store. Okay, what book am I on? Right? Like, it's just so perfect.
Yes. It's a beautiful thing.
And Audible, yet, I love the audiobooks. Whenever I go walk my dogs, I'm like, give me some audiobook.
Or have a drive for a couple of hours. You have a destination to go to. One of the first really good books about coaching that I read, I was driving from Napa Valley to Portland a couple of years ago, and I had downloaded the book, The Wizard of Oz and Other Narcissists.
Okay.
Oh, it's a good book. Yeah. And I listened to that all the way up to Portland. I was having just, revelation after revelation. And
nice.
I feel like I had studied, this behavior disorder completely just by listening to this book.
Love it. Fantastic. Yes. Yeah. Love audiobooks. So where can people find your books?
Journaling as Sacred Practice is available on our favorite online bookstore, Amazon. And I will be posting what is possible from here is the name of the collection. And so
it's a great name.
Thank you. It's both a question and a statement.
Yeah.
What is possible from here? What is possible from here?
Yeah, I love it.
So it's a coaching question. Actually, we ask that a lot in the coaching world. It's like you make a change, you have a shift in your perspective, and then you go, so from this perspective, what's possible? Like, oh my God, so much.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a very cool open-ended question.
Yes.
That will be released probably in June. We're getting down to it. We'll probably complete all of the stages of production in May, but I want to plan for a June launch, and I'll be launching that on Ingram Sparks as well as Amazon, because Ingram Sparks will also put me on lists for universities and colleges, and I think the book would be a great teaching tool.
Oh, that's cool. I never knew that. I know I want to get into that stuff, one day.
Yeah, it's a great alternative. Well, Amazon does, sell the lion's share of most books, but they're not they're not the be all and the end all. Yeah. And so someone like Ingram Sparks sends a catalog to indie bookstores, sends a catalog to universities and university professors.
I love learning this stuff.
I know. I'm learning a ton this year with this book. So yes, there are other ways that you can promote your book.
Fabulous. And for all the wannabe authors or already authors or soon to be authors, that's some great tips right there.
Yeah. Marketing the book is, it's as big a job as writing the book. And
I feel like it's a bigger job personally.
Right. And I think that because I'm a writer and I'm not necessarily a publicist, I look for tools that will help me get, to that next step or that next stage. I'm not going to do it myself. There are people who do it much better than I could. And faster and, better. So I'm all about friendly, helpful people to support my work.
Yes. And I am here to support you.
I love supporting you.
Thanks. We'll support each other because we are all awesome.
Pretty much.
And where can people follow you?
I am very active on LinkedIn. It's one of my sandboxes. I have so much fun playing there. And
that's awesome.
If you go into LinkedIn and search Gregory Cynthia, my profile. So I do a lot of posting on LinkedIn and commenting, and it's just so much fun. I love it. And I'm also new. Oh yes, please. Yes. I made a mental note that I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get on LinkedIn. I just hired a VA and she's helping me with Instagram and upping my presence on Facebook and Instagram so that I can automate a lot of that and not have to personally, be managing it, taking care of it, but having a presence there and taking advantage of what that medium can do.
Exactly. Another great tip for all those authors out there, or any business owner, really. You got to take advantage of what's out
Absolutely.
there.
You can't ignore social media. I had talked to so many people who go, I hate Facebook. Yeah, well, I do too, but it's very useful.
Yeah.
Use it as a tool. Don't think that it's going to be your friend, but use
Yeah.
it as a tool, and then you can get a lot of mileage out of it.
Exactly. Love that.
My website is cgregorycreativity.com. And then that's kind of an aggregate of my coaching work, my writing work, and everything else that I do.
Perfect. And we will have all of those links down in the description below so that you can very easily find her. So my kid is beside me here, and he's been drawing a picture for you. So I will show it off.
Oh my gosh. I love that. Yes. Oh, that is so darling. Please, can you scan that to me or take a photo and
I will do that.
Text it to me. I love that. Thank you. What is your son's name?
Levin.
Levin, thank you. That's so special.
And actually, I'll do a little promo for him. So he runs his own business too, doing art. So he has a Facebook page as well. It's called A Piece of Karma. And for all those listening, I'll throw that link in the description below.
This child with a business called A Piece of Karma.
A Piece of Karma, yes.
Whoa. Amazing.
Yeah. So he does artwork, and actually in my Christmas book, he did a lot of the artwork, and he's helping me to draw some pictures for my short story horror book.
Really?
Yeah.
Awesome. I coached a woman last year to write a book. She came to me, she goes, I have this idea. And I said, great, show me what you got. She had like 5 paragraphs. I went, okay, we have to unpack that. Yeah. And she, over a year, she unpacked it. It was really, really good. And then she found an artist on Etsy to do illustrations for the book, which was so much fun. I thought, why not?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So it became a hybrid kind of book, both metaphysical fiction and this beautiful art. So
that's awesome. I love that.
Yeah. With self-publishing, we can do it any way we want to do it.
Exactly. That's what I love about it.
Yes.
Yeah. So yes, I gotta always manage the kids' business too. I'm the manager. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm the manager.
You're a momager.
Yes, oh, I like that. I'm a momager. That is fantastic.
Right? Like, over there. What's her name? Kris Jenner. Yeah, she's the momager of all her daughters.
Yeah, exactly.
The Kardashian girls. That's funny.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Cynthia, for being on the show and sharing all about what you've experienced, your coping skills, and just having a great conversation.
This was a lot of fun. I will come back anytime, and I'll look forward to getting the notice about when it's going to be broadcast, and I will share it far and wide.
Awesome. That was a great episode. I had lots of fun talking to Cynthia, and if you want to hear a little bit more from Cynthia, of course, check out her links in the description below. But as well, if you are part of our Patreon page, then you're going to get some behind the scenes footage. Find out what kind of dogs she has, because they are adorable. Sorry, there's no picture of the dogs. Maybe we can get one day. But you do get to find out what kind of dogs that she does have in that behind the scenes footage. As well, if you have not already, check out our merch store. 10% of the proceeds go to the Canadian Mental Health Association, and there are some really cool designs up on there. Remember, the only way to end the stigma of mental health is to speak openly and honestly.